Alright, so boom, it's time to make a part 2 to a video I made a long time ago. XXL Freshmen that immediately fell off. Anytime someone hears the term fell off, y'all be acting like the person who said it means that the rapper is completely homeless and that they're living on the street in a box and have no money or something. Y'all love to say they didn't fall off, they still making music, they still got a fan base, they're still doing performances. I don't know why, but people make the term falling off seem way deeper than what it is. When a person says an artist fell off, they're simply saying that artist is nowhere near as popular as they used to be. When you go from selling 50,000 first week to selling 10,000 or getting 20 million views on your songs to only getting 100,000, like bro, a fact is a fact. Some artists you don't hear from as much because their label was screwing them over and they won't let them put out music. Other times it's just the artist's fault and they're not working as hard and they're not as hungry. Either way, the point of this video is to talk about freshmen that from a music standpoint aren't as popping as they were from when they first got on the freshman list. All of the artists in this video can make a comeback too. I'm not saying that they fell off and they're never gonna get a hot song again for the rest of their life. I'm saying this because I included K-Camp in the part 1 video, which I made in 2018, and I said how his popularity had drastically dwindled since his 2014 and 2015 days. But then during the pandemic year when Lottery came out, everyone was going back to my video talking about, oh, you was wrong about K-Camp. He got a new song called Lottery that's blowing up on TikTok right now. Him having that one song doesn't negate what I said. You're just flat out lying to yourself if you think 2020 K-Camp is as hot as he was in 2015. But check out part 1 if you haven't seen it. It'll be linked in the description and pinned comment. But let's go, man.
Now if you want to scream out brr, you gotta pay for that. Dump the Glock, show me it work or something.
After appearing on the 2021 freshman list, first of all, let me say that I rock with Shiesty's freestyle. It's one of the worst ones, admittedly, but it makes me laugh. Sending shots where your D at, we just found out where they sleep at. Been getting the head from this outpost, she get straight in, let the seat back. I'm at the top and I can't foul cause I know they wanna see that. Brr, brr. But even while the XXL festivities was happening, Pooh Shiesty got in trouble with the police. After the incident that happened where he shot at his fans during the performance because they was grabbing money that was falling out of his pockets, and the other incident where he met up with someone to buy some weed and some shoes and he ended up shooting the dude in the ass, like Pooh Shiesty was acting like O-Dog out here. So I can't even say after the list is when Shiesty got in trouble. He was being questioned and investigated while the list was going on. After the XXL festivities was done in the summer of 2021, other than being detained, Shiesty released a second deluxe edition to his album. He dropped his Shiesty Season project in February 2021. 3 months later, in May, he released a deluxe edition titled Spring Deluxe. And then again, nearly a year later, in April 2022, he released another deluxe edition titled Shiesty Season Certified. I legitimately don't know why, if he had all this music, why didn't he just release a different project instead of repeatedly releasing deluxe editions of the same album. But other than milking his own album, he's been on other projects such as the So Icy Boys compilations with 1017. He's been on features and collabs with big name artists such as Black on Black with Jack Harlow, Lil Baby's Shiest Talk, and he was on Megan Thee Stallion's Who Me. But again, this video is not me saying that these artists don't make music. It's about if they're selling as much as they used to, or if they've been getting into a bunch of other nonsense outside of music that's overshadowing it. And in Pooh Shiesty's case, it's certainly the latter. Not even a full year after being on the freshman list, Pooh Shiesty was sentenced to 5 years in prison for the shooting incidents that I mentioned earlier. Like bro, there is no bigger fall off than that. To be a freshman and then get locked up and sent to prison months later, it's about to be a super long time until we hear from Shiesty again. I know some of y'all are going to defend Shiesty and say, he didn't fall off, he just went to jail. Right, nigga. He got locked up because of some stupid shit he decided to do. If a person shooting somebody and getting packed up for it isn't part of your definition of falling off, then that's insane. It would be different if he was still somehow putting out projects and getting hella numbers while he was in prison, but we all know that's not what's going on here. Ugly, Back in Blood, and C-Red era Pooh Shiesty was much more popular than current Bread and Water, Orange Jumpsuit, Commissary Pooh Shiesty. He could make waves when he gets released and have the streets on fire, or he can end up like Bobby Shmurda. Y'all saying free him, I can't wait till he comes home, and then when he does, y'all don't even mess with his new music. We just gonna have to wait 5 years to see what happens.
I got 7 cars, 7 chains, dead rain, pop out.
I guess while I'm at it, I might as well put Big 30 in the video too. Big 30 was on the freshman list in the summer of 2022, and it was a good look for Memphis, especially because Big Scar was on the list with him. RIP to that man. But Big 30 was a hot artist at first, all of his collabs with Shiesty and Gucci Mane, and then he had his own songs like Shouts Out the Vet and No Vouch. After being on the freshman list, he released his album Last Man Standing in September 2022. Although Sea Lion Frames was the biggest hit, he still had other songs that were cool like Crying with Shiesty, Dead Guys, Scared of Us with Hot Boy, and No Love. Here's the insane part though. Last Man Standing came out 14 months ago. In the past 14 months, Big 30 has put out 2 songs since then. 2. That man released that album and immediately went quiet for the next year. The only things he has done since releasing that album was he was a feature on Trippie Redd's Mansion Music album on the track High Hopes. But the 2 songs he released that I was talking about, one of them is called Part 2.
I say what I wanna, these niggas say what they should say. Chopper guy for life, new death row, we do shit.
And the other is called All Yeah. High Hopes with Trippie Redd came out in January 2023. These 2 tracks, Part 2 and All Yeah, just came out within the past month. So before these 2 songs came out, people pretty much went the entire year not hearing from Big 30. To the point where I guarantee you most people will tell you they forgot he was even a freshman last year. Big 30 is somebody I actually want to see him winning. I don't want to see him in the penitentiary like his homeboy. He blamed his hiatus on the fact that once Pooh Shiesty got locked up, all of his connections that he had in the industry and people who claimed to rock with him, they left him alone and started acting like they wasn't cool with him anymore. As messed up as that is, like I said, we have to call a spade in this video. Both Shiesty and Big 30 went from being huge rappers from Memphis and putting the city in the limelight, and now you barely hear from either one of them. Because one of them decided to get locked up and the other one decided to drop an album and then just go quiet for a whole year afterwards. But with Part 2 and All Yeah just recently coming out, it looks like Big 30 finally came out of hibernation and he may blow back up. We'll have to wait and see.
It's all yours, you don't need permission. That role play make you take a pause in it, intermission.
Lakia is one of the main examples of XXL freshmen that when their respective lists got announced, she immediately got hit with the "who the hell is this, y'all just be picking anybody" type of comments. Lakia has some very popular songs in her catalog from when she first started out. Her 2 biggest tracks are Too Much and then Female Goat with the City Girls, which are both around 20 million views. Even with these 2 songs, people were still ripping into Lakia when she got named a freshman because she was quote unquote unknown. I vividly remember when the 2021 class dropped. The 2 main people on this cover that were getting flamed for being nobodies were Blast and Lakia. Who the hell is Blixt? BLXST? Who is this nigga? Lakia? Bro, why y'all putting so many women on the list this year? You already got Cola Ray, Flo Milli, and Ruby Rose. Who the hell is this other girl? Where is Snot? Where is Yeet? Where is Enchanting? Where is Sofago? Y'all did not let up on these 2. And the craziest part about y'all dogging her like that is that she was easily one of the best people on the list. From an overall standpoint, judging both the freestyle and cypher, Lakia was probably the #1 best person that year. Unfortunately, in the past 2 years since being on the list, her name has been pretty cold and she's not staying in front of the people. Although she's signed to QC, she's still yet to release an official album. The 2 projects she released since being on the list, No Pressure Part 1 and No Pressure Part 2, were released 3 months apart from each other, and both of them are EPs. The 2 biggest songs she's had since being on the list were both from these projects. On No Pressure Part 2, she had Real Bitch featuring Gloss Up, which is at 5 million views.
Real bitch, don't fall. Fuck a nigga, get paid, that's cold.
And on the first No Pressure, she had Mind Your Business with Lotto, that's at 14 million views.
If he ain't got more than me, can't fuck.
Mind Your Business with Lotto is pretty much the last big move Lakia has made in the past year and a half. Another thing too that I gotta make clear is that I'm not out here saying that these artists have to get the exact same numbers that they got when they first started out. So in Lakia's case, I'm not saying, oh, you're not pulling 15 to 20 million anymore? Oh, you ain't shit. Of course not, that would be ridiculous. But going from when No Pressure 2 got released till now, for you to only have 1 song be over 1 million views and nothing else even comes close to that, man, QC needs to let this girl drop an album and get her name out there more. because she's dope as hell. But admittedly, outside of Mind Your Business, if you have even heard Lakia's name since she's been a freshman, you're not the only person that's saying that. And that's assuming you've even heard Mind Your Business. Some of y'all might not even know that. I initially didn't care to bring this up, but I figured I might as well, just in case some people will comment about it. Apparently, some time ago, Lakia came out as a lesbian.
I want to go back because you said you moved out here with your partner.
I did.
Okay. Come on, partner.
Yeah. I've been in a relationship though. It's not new. You know, my people know that.
And she was in a little bit of heat because some people was confused on why she mostly raps about being with guys and talking about dick and whatnot. According to her, it's because her label wants her to be more accepted as an artist to the general public. So for her to not put her sexuality out there, they thought it would be for the better. She has a freestyle called Gorgeous where she has some bars about being with women, so she is rapping more about it.
I'm 22 and a 23 and I ain't got kids. I'm gay, but I still carry bitches. That's the plot twist.
Either way, I legitimately think her rap skills are great, and her being a lesbian doesn't change my opinion on her. But if anybody told me, man, I forgot Lakia was even a freshman, I ain't heard her name since, I can't even say that they tripping for saying that.
About to make a movie with my nigga, no extras.
I know niggas who lost it when they done had it all. I'm indifferent and focused, hand me an Adderall.
Chica is kinda in that category of she never blew up to begin with. You know, how can someone fall off if they was never even on? But y'all get the point, so just roll with it. Just like Lakia, Chica is one of those selections that made people look at XXL and go, okay, y'all should choose anybody, who the hell is she? Chica is a good rapper though, and one of the better rappers from her class, but her most popular song on YouTube is not even at 2 million views, so as cold as her rapping skills are, she's never been a popular artist to begin with. Since being on the list in the summer of 2020, Chica has just been arguing with niggas, man. The music is not even what stands out when it comes to her. She stays getting into a bunch of other nonsense. Whether it was the negative comments she made about children being on flights, calling them bitch ass bastards and whatnot, getting into a scuffle with the Barbs after saying Nicki Minaj is insecure when it comes to her career. Even myself, she tried to get me canceled because of a podcast episode I did about her. I'm not even trying to be wild when I say this, but Chica is more known for having mental health issues and always getting into controversy and spouts with people more than she's known for her music. Since her freshman appearance, Chica has released 2 EPs and 1 album. One of them was just some singles on Spotify. Man, you know what? I'm not even gonna count that. She's had 1 EP and 1 album. Once Upon a Time in March 2021, where the biggest song from that project was Cinderella Part 2.
Don't want you anywhere else. Stay, girl, I need you right here to myself. No one is better alone.
For the entire year of 2022, Chica didn't drop anything. And then for the year 2023 in the summer, she dropped Samson the album. The biggest song on there was Truth or Dare with Freddie Gibbs at 43,000 views.
Kill all the rest, let my real niggas out, let my real niggas out.
New whip, new clothes, new drip.
Yeah, dude, like I said, I can't even say Chica fell off for real because she never blew up to begin with. The girl got skills, but we can't sit up here and lie. She's not a popping artist. And her name is more so tied to the controversy she gets in more than her music. Cowboy is one of those artists that I feel like was only chosen because they couldn't get certain people that they originally wanted first. Just to remind you guys who aren't aware, XXL hasn't had a 10-person freshman list since 2017. For the past 6 years, they've always had more than 10, except for that one weird year where they only had 9. But another thing that you guys are aware of is that every year there's some artists who decline the list or they just couldn't make it for other reasons. For the 2020 list, Don Toliver, Lil Tecca, and Pop Smoke were all people who XXL originally intended to be on there. Pop Smoke couldn't make it unfortunately because his life got cut short. Lil Tecca just straight up declined the offer. And Don Toliver said, I'll do it, but I just want to take the pictures. I'm not doing any ciphers or freestyles. So XXL told him to get the hell on somewhere with that. And yet they still had a 12-person list, which means there's a couple of people on this list that the only reason they was there is because they couldn't get Pop, Tecca, or Don. Which people on this list do y'all think wouldn't have made it if they was able to get one of those 3? For me, the answer is Cowboy. I'm sorry, but the moment Cowboy got picked, I went, there is no way in hell this dude was one of their first options. I know he had Envy Me and all, but no. Since being on the list though, Cowboy is another artist that has yet to release an album, nor has he released any mixtapes until very recently. From August 2020 to August 2023, The only project he's made in that 3 years is his EP Black Heart, which was released in September 2022. The reason I said very recently is because in November 2023, Cowboy released his Unchained project, which he says is an album. So, alright, you can have that. That ain't even what I'm mad at. His biggest song since being on the list is his song Miseducation with Lil Wayne that came out in March 2021.
I'm just trying to vibe, so I'm rolling up. We was living way too fast, we ain't know enough.
But one thing that this man doesn't shy away from is talking about his displeasure with his record label. Cowboy is one of those artists that has made it very clear that he's not happy with the record label that he was signed to. He was previously with RCA Records for a few years, and he felt so mismanaged to the point where he was warning other artists about signing with them, saying that they wouldn't let him release things at his pace and that he felt like he was a slave to the label. So now that Cowboy is unchained from his terrible label, he may go back to making some hit songs because Lord knows, whether it was his fault or his label's fault, it's been years since he's been popping. But if I'm being honest, I'm surprised he was even chosen as a freshman to begin with.
Yeah, she's a dancer, freaky dancer, throw money in the clubs.
At this point, this is not even my opinion. Any person that says YK Osiris is still relevant in a music sense is just flat out wrong. Pretty much since 2019, this nigga is only in the news for a whole lot of miscellaneous stuff that has nothing to do with releasing an album or a new single. Starting in 2020, the year after he was on the freshman list, this man has only released 2 projects since then, Valentine and King of R&B. The wild thing is, both of these only have 6 songs each, so they're not full-blown projects, and they aren't even new songs. Although these came out in 2021, both projects are just a small collection of songs he released in 2018 and 2019, and only one track came out in 2020. So this is what I'm talking about. You've only released 2 projects since the year after you was on the list, and both of them were just older songs that you still had on your hard drive. So for any reason, if any of you all have wondered why you haven't heard about YK Osiris releasing music in the past couple of years, that's because he hasn't been releasing music for real. Since 2021, the only songs he has that actually are new is Mad Now, which was released in January 21, Be My Girl, released July 22, and Dear Fans, released July 23. 3 songs in nearly 3 years is ridiculous. So since you can't count on new music when it comes to him, one thing you can count on is this dude getting posted on social media for the most miscellaneous, random, pointless things possible. YK Osiris plays presser in a game of basketball for $10,000. YK Osiris says he gets a haircut every day. Speaking of haircuts, what about that one time he scammed the barber by, instead of paying for the haircut up front, he said, oh yeah, I'ma cash up you the money, I'ma cash app you. And then he never sent it to her. And then when the barber went on social media and called him out about it, this boy gonna say, I didn't pay her because I didn't like the cut. She didn't do a good job. I ain't giving her $100 for that. This nigga was crying over Drake at one point in time. He got caught forcibly kissing Sukihana. Like, bro, you doing all this other shit. Get in the studio. This man's name is attached to everything else but music nowadays. This opens up a conversation though. Can a newer rapper necessarily be considered relevant if the only things you hear about them are them getting into controversies or just doing stuff on social media? I don't mean an established artist like Boosie. I mean a newer artist like YK. This man just came into the game 5 or so years ago, and already the last thing you think about when you hear his name is his music. Same thing with Blueface Baby I. Both of these dudes are really just social media personalities now. If either one of them put out new music, they wouldn't even come close to the numbers that they did when they first started popping.
They say love don't cost a thing, that's lies.
Murray is another person that is so talented that it hurts not seeing him be as popular as he once was. Now, one big W that Murray does have on his resume is that right after his freshman cover was done, he went on tour with a big artist. For J. Cole's The Off-Season Tour that ran from September and October 2021, and then 2 final dates, one in December and then one in April 2022, J. Cole had Murray as one of his opening acts throughout the whole tour. Now don't get me wrong, going on tour with J. Cole is huge. I will never take that away from him. The issue is, since that tour, Murray has been kind of quiet. Murray would not even be in this video if the tour ended in April 2023. Because then it would be like, alright, he just got off tour, it's only been a few months, he probably gonna drop something soon. But no, the tour was completed in April of 2022, so it's been nearly 20 months now. In the past 20 months, Murray has released a few songs, but you wouldn't be alone if you haven't heard any of these. He had his song Ticket, Letter to Myself.
I got caught up in the money, got caught up in the fame, I got caught up in the character who really wasn't me.
The song Broken Vows, The Rent, and High Price featuring Lil TJ.
It costs time that you can't get back, high price.
All of these songs are a year and some change old, except for High Price. You can't even find interviews of this nigga. The last interview I remember him doing was an Off the Porch interview in April 2023, which was a week after he dropped the song with TJ. And even at the end of that video, the interviewer asked him what's next in store for him, and he straightforwardly said,
"Put my album out very soon. I'm hoping for end of April, early May. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make sure everything is tweaked right. My story's already together. I just gotta make sure the sound right. That's all it is. Shit, I gotta figure out the order, and it's time to work on the album. That's really it. Album's coming out next. I can't put out no more videos and singles. I ain't doing that shit. It's albums next."
Late April, early May. It is the middle of November and he hasn't released it yet. If we keeping it a beam, this man went on tour with J. Cole and we ain't heard from him since. I get he's taking his time to put an album together, but that album is going to have to hit hard in order for him to beat the fell off allegations. He has his core fan base that still loves him and is waiting for the album to drop some new music and whatnot. But then again, you can say that about everybody. Hell, Dej Loaf still has a fan base that listens to her and wants new material. That don't mean she didn't fall off because she still got a fan base. So Murray gonna have to get it together and drop this album so people know he still got it like that.
My fans cuss me the fuck out every day. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all so rude. I get shit like, bro, I love you, but hurry the fuck up. Like, damn, that's so like, what we talking about? Why you talking to me like this, my boy? Like, damn, I know you say you love me, but hurry the fuck up. I got you.
I know this, I peeped it, I know this. When you're under pressure.
So Fago is somebody who's had a lot of discussion around his name about whether or not his career is over. So Fago is probably the main person in this video where people are going to try to pull that he is not falling off, he still got a fan base card, or the he still has a lot of monthly listeners on Spotify card. And my thing is, the fact that these conversations even exist, I think proves that he isn't as hot as he originally was. I honestly feel like if Fago wasn't falling off, then it wouldn't be this many people saying that he is. Heck, some people have already told me that if anything, Fago was a late pick for when he got chosen to be a freshman in 2022, and that he was already losing his hype by that point. The reason people say that is because by the time the list came out in June 2022, this was several months after he was building hype for his Pink Hearts project, and after he had some big time features. In August 2021, he was a feature on Trippie Redd's Trip at Night album. In September, he released the lead single, Let's Lose Our Minds, for his Pink Hearts project, which ended up not even being on the album when it did finally drop. And then in October, he was a feature on Don Toliver's Life of a Don album. So for a burst of a few months, that was him building fans' anticipation more and more for the album to drop. Unfortunately, after the Don Toliver appearance, nothing would happen for Fago until 8 months later, in June 2022. Throughout that 8 months, he was on his Murray type of time, and he just kept releasing snippets and saying, "Oh, the album is dropping soon. Don't worry, it's coming." Instead of dropping the album, what happened in June 2022 was that he released his EP, Before Pink, which was just a little something to hold the fans over until the album dropped. On that very same day he dropped Before Pink, that's when he was announced as a member of the freshman class. This is why people say his hype was already dying, because dude released the lead single to his project and did 2 big time features, and then we didn't hear shit from him until 8 months later, to where he still didn't drop the album and he released a little EP instead. Keep in mind that during this point, there were other artists that went from being on the same level as Fago in terms of popularity to where they overcame Fago because he wasn't putting out anything. And those artists were Ken Carson and Yeat. More so Yeat. By summer of 22, most people realized it became Yeat's time instead. After his time on the freshman cover, the Pink Hearts tape would finally come out on November 11th, 2022, where it sold under 7,000 copies first week. Super underwhelming numbers. Since this album has come out, the whole conversation around him has been whether or not he made a mistake on signing to Travis Scott's Cactus Jack label, considering that Travis Scott wasn't a feature on the Pink Hearts album, and when Utopia finally came out for Travis, Fago wasn't a feature on his album. So it comes off like Travis Scott doesn't even care to promote Fago, and he's letting his own artists just hang by the wayside. He's very young and obviously still has time to make a career resurgence, all the people in this video do. But the proof is in the pudding. Anybody who thinks SoFaygo is on the same level he was in 2021 are just coping and they don't want to accept the truth. His wave has certainly been taken over by other artists by this point.
Please don't panic, just like Janet. Ooh, whole nother planet. This that mumble rap. Old heads really want none of that. Yeah, they want none of that.
Well, it seems like the young dudes didn't want to hear that mumble rap either when it came to you, because Made in Tokyo been out of most people's minds for a very long time now. Now the thing is, Made in Tokyo had a good year the year after he was on the list. He was on the list in 2017 and he actually had a good 2018. During 2018, he dropped his album Sincerely Tokyo in October and he got 2 gold certified songs from that project, which are Chuck E. Cheese.
Fill the room with the juice, that's a lot of loot. That bit fire, yeah she kinda cute.
And Ned Flanders with A$AP Ferg.
I got standards, suck on my nuts like planners. Ooh, yeah, my bitch a dancer.
Now some of you may call this entry a reach because how you gonna say Freshman that immediately fell off and then say Made in Tokyo had a good year after he was on the list? If you think that, that's fine. The reason I'm putting Tokyo on here anyway is because he's been falling off since 2019, which is still very soon after his freshman appearance. Starting in 2019, that's when it became like, alright, who is still listening to Made in Tokyo? Since 2019, the 2 biggest songs he's been on have been features on someone else's track. He was a feature on Chance the Rapper's Hot Shower, and he was on A$AP Ferg's Move Your Hips with Nicki Minaj. These are the 2 biggest songs he's been on since he's been a freshman, and they both are over 3 years old. It's been forever since he's had one of his own songs blow up, which is why he's in this video. Since Ned Flanders, what has Made in Tokyo done that will make a person think, oh yeah, Tokyo, he's still one of the hottest rappers in the game. He's getting more hits, he running up the numbers. Nobody has thought that because that's not the case. Even if the music is still good, he's not touching close to Uber Everywhere and Ned Flanders numbers. During the pandemic year, he released his second album, Never Forgotten. The year after that, in 21, he dropped a project that I actually have heard. I played it one day because it was a collab project and the person he collabed with was someone I wanted to check out. And that project was Yokohama with Uno the Activist. If Uno was not on here, I wouldn't have cared to check this out. In 2022, Tokyo didn't release anything because he was working on his next album that came out just at the beginning of this year. His 3rd album being titled NEOTYO. So he's still regularly making music. But again, as I've been saying throughout this whole video, you can still regularly make music. That doesn't mean you didn't fall off. Because how many of you have listened to his recent projects that I just named? People who believe you can't say an artist fell off if they still releasing music, let me tell y'all something. This entire logic is easily debunked based off one example I can give y'all. This is an artist that has released tons and tons of projects, and yet for the past several years, this dude has been the poster child and public enemy #1 for quote unquote rappers that fell off. The person I'm talking about is Fetty Wap. Y'all have heard several times over the years, damn, what happened to Fetty Wap? Dude doesn't make music anymore? Man, he was the highlight of my summer in 2015. That boy had hit after hit. Fetty Wap gotta come back to us, man. He gave us all these hits and just left the earth. From 2016 to 2020, Fetty Wap has put out 11 projects. 11. 10 mixtapes and 1 EP. I guarantee that all of those people that say Fetty Wap disappeared, he must not even make music anymore, they have zero clue that he has so many projects in recent times. But you can't respond to those people and say, Fetty Wap didn't fall off whatsoever. He done released a gang of mixtapes in the past few years. That doesn't mean shit. You can make all the music you want, but if you're not getting any hits and you're not popping like you once was, people are going to say, yeah, your wave is over. We've been moved past you. It's about numbers. A lot of people watching this video will tell you they stopped paying attention to Made in Tokyo a long time ago. And they're probably surprised that I said he even dropped an album this year. This man went from being at the forefront of introducing mumble rap into the genre and saying that the old heads need to get with the times and this is what hip hop sounds like nowadays. And now, even the young people barely listen to him anymore.
You up with shells, turn your ass to a taco shack. Nigga ran up on me, step back. I shoot like Jerry Jack.
I don't think a single soul looked at this man and thought he was going to be a star and have a luxurious career. It was clear from the jump that Black Boy JB is someone that blew up because he was a dancing nigga. The shoot dance became so popular to the point where they took it and put it in Fortnite, and most people just started calling it the Fortnite dance and never even heard of who Black Boy was. But with his earlier hits such as Shoot, Rover, Rover 2.0 with Savage, and of course Look Alive with Drizzy, it kinda makes sense why he was selected as a freshman because he was popping, but not really. To no one's surprise, Block Boy hasn't been hot since 2018. The only person that still reminds y'all of him is myself, thanks to the fact that my outro song from all of my videos is a song by Block Boy called Outro. I'm not about to play what the song sounds like because y'all literally are about to hear it in a moment. Since 2019, Block Boy has dropped 2 mixtapes, I Am Me in June 2019 and Back to the Block in January 2022, and then his first album, Fat Boy, came out in October 2020. The thing with Block is kind of the thing with a lot of up-and-coming rappers. He doesn't have a lot of solo hits. Damn near all of his most popular songs are tracks with other established artists. The aforementioned tracks with Savage and Drake, all of his collabs with NOE Choppa, the song Smoke with ESTG. The most popular song he's had since 2019 that doesn't have a feature was his song Don't Be Mad, which came out way back in May 2019.
When I was 10, I was throwing no gang signs. I'm at these bitches' neck like a hoe with some braids that ain't got no hang time.
So it's been far past the point that Block is going to ever have a hit song. Once the shoot days was over, most people just realized he was a fad and moved on from him. He's been pulling the my label won't let me release music card too, but nah bro. Even if your label let you release anything you wanted, people still wouldn't be checking it out. He be out here claiming that he's the best rapper in the game and ain't nobody touching him. There's a difference between being confident and being delusional, homie. That's all I'ma say.
Outro.